Everybody, I'm Mr. Steve, and in this video, I'm going to be demoing out the letterboard add-on mainly, but the double use for this is that I'm going to teach you guys how to make a thumbnail the way I do it inside of Blender. You don't have to use Canva, and you can get some pretty cool effects without knowing a whole lot. We're going to use import images as planes, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about the letterboard add-on. So if this interests you, come on in. Make sure you like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys inside the video. Got a very simple project file. I'm going to make it available on Patreon so you guys can go pick it up. We're going to play around with some mesh images as planes, a little bit of compositing, very simple stuff. We're using Blender 5.0 beta. If you don't have that, some things may end up looking a little different to you. Now, this setup, like I said, I'll put it on the Patreon. You grab it, it's free. Letterboard will be on Super Hive Market. I think you guys are really going to like how this add-on works for you, and you'll be able to make thumbnails inside of Blender and then add your own personal tweaks according to your artistic capabilities. Now I'm over at Emoji Bin. You can see this emojidb.org, and I typed in Space Invaders and then just click this, copy it. Now over here, I can actually just add a line, Control V, and drop little homie in. And then I can come down here and I can jump back over, grab this guy, and I'll put one of those, and then we'll grab anything else. What do you think I should grab, guys? I'm gonna read minds here while I'm doing it. So scroll down, and we're going to grab this guy. I like that. We'll come back over, hit enter, and generate this letterboard. And you can literally do anything that is on your heart to do. Super cool. The material that comes with this obviously can be changed, but this will be a mesh object, and I would need to have changed the padding just a little bit. You change the padding factor and the spacing, but you can play around with that because I have no idea what you guys are going to want to do. But this just makes a lot of sense. Here, go back up and stay this time. There we go. So that's one of the very cool things you could do. We're going to jump into the main part of this tutorial here. I just want you guys to know you can put anything you want in here. It's going to generate it as a mesh object. So hint, hint, there's a lot more you can do with letterboard. And as you guys see, I'm going to be using 5.0 beta. I do have Blender Kit here enabled. I'm just going to click free first just so you guys can understand kind of like what I'm doing. And I just maybe want to bring in a scene here. But first things first, I want to delete everything. I don't want the camera. I don't want anything in there. So I'm just going to append in this scene, and it'll take a second to download. I got a pretty nice fast connection. To be honest, I had no idea it's going to be that big. Oh, just in case you can't see stuff, press the end panel, go to view, and clip end. Boom, look at that. So we could put this to like 3,000 or 5,000, and it'll show your viewport. Zoom back in here. So what we've got is a neat little scene. I want to do maybe a viewport render, or maybe I'll just take an actual render of this. Let's see where the camera's got a neat little angle. I like that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and render this, but I want to see how many samples, blah, blah, blah. That looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and render that out. And I just need something very simple. Now, it's always advisable to take a few renders. You can change this to slot 2 and render something else. I'm going to keep the tutorial nice and short as possible. I want to save as, not PNG, JPEG. This way you can upload it as a smaller file to YouTube and other places. And I'm just going to go ahead and call this one my cars demo. And now I can basically get rid of that. I don't need that. And now that I've done that render, I can literally do a new scene. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to come back over here and we'll do like we did before. And so now I can go ahead and Shift A and go to Image, Mesh Plane. Now, if you're in an earlier version, you will need to go to Import and you'll find images of planes here. But you shouldn't be in too early of a Blender anyways, because you're missing out. Now, here we go. Here's my render. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in, take up the top view, and go into EV Engine or Look Dev, and this looks good. So you could actually even scale that out just a touch so it matches the camera just a little bit. So now what I want to do is I just want to rotate this on the X at 90. So when I press 1 on the numpad, it's facing this way. And I like working this way. It's a little bit more difficult to do it the other. Now I want to drop a camera in, and just for now, I can hide that. I want to grab the camera, hit Alt-R. I don't want there to be any rotations. I want it just to be dead facing down. So Alt-H, I will bring this back in. I'm going to grab my camera, G and Y, and I'm going to bring it out. Now I'm going to go over to the Properties panel, Constraints, add a track to. This is going to allow me to automatically point the camera to this object. So if you do get it just moved a little bit, it's still going to follow, but you really want this for the purpose of this. You really want it to be lined up very nicely, like nice and square, because you're trying to make this look like a thumbnail. So if we take up the camera view here, this is not likely going to match. I can just scale it and hold Shift as I go. Now, getting the aspect ratio and other things here to kind of line up may be a little bit difficult. So you'd want to say, hey, how do I manage to do that? Well, what you can do is you can come up, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to cycles because that's how I like to operate. And denoise under open image denoise is AI driven now, to the best of my knowledge. And we do have scene world turned on, but we're going to add lights, so we won't need to have it this way. We won't need to use the HDRI because it may not produce enough good light for you in the first place. And what you can do is you can come in here and select anything you want, something maybe 16:9. You can do 21:6. You can do 4K. You can do anything you want. All you really need to do, though, is grab the camera. And once you're in here, you can change the focal length just a touch. And ultimately, all I'm trying to do is get some of this into the camera, the part that I want. The outside of this doesn't matter, so don't try to size it up. I've actually got an add-on that will match this up for you, but it's not necessary. You're just trying to get what you need in the actual camera view. So now that we've got that set up, we can actually do the same thing we did with the camera with a light. And so if I come over, and I didn't turn these on before, my bad guys. So what we can do is we can grab a light, and I want an area light, and it comes in not rotated, which is fine. So if I come out here, G and Y, and I want to point this towards the camera, well, guess what? Add a constraint to that too and make it super simple. We're going to select our plane. Now, when we hit the button here, we'll see this is not necessarily the right size. We'll take our area light. We'll go to the light properties. I want it to be rectangular. It's going to give me a Y and an X control. So now I can kind of get this thing to more or less be the size I want it. We can use an image, you can use a mesh to add some light, and we're actually going to need to do that. But for now, what I did is I just did a Shift D, and what you'll see if you take up the top view like I did here, what you'll see is that if you add this extra area light over here, so you've got a fill light, you've got your front facing light here, so you can add some more light. You could change this. Maybe this one was worth 25 and it's the right lighting, and this one's about 50 on the power, so the lighting is good. And if we come in here and turn off, we'll put on scene world. So now we're not using anything. We're using world lighting, which can effectively be zero matter, and we're using our actual lights to power this. So now we'll use it that way. Now with the letterboard add-on, we can come over here and we can title this anything we want. We'll just call it the car depot. This is where we're showcasing our new car. So we'll add a line. we'll add another line, and we'll add another one. So we'll have 3 lines here, and we'll say, welcome. Oops, come back here to the, and then we'll come down here to the next line, car show. Boom. And we don't really have to capitalize all of that, just the first one. And then you'll have some different things in here, like the padding factor. You'll have line spacing, font size, the extrude depth, and you can test this out. You'll have alignment. You can test it out and see how you like these different things, how they end up for you. Go ahead and generate the letterboard. And if we're over here, you'll see how this comes in. One of the things to note is that this comes in with its own material, right? So you've got a neat letterboard material behind it, which makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, you can add different texture to it. If you want, it's already going to have one. For me, I like to use an emission on these. So we could switch these. A couple other ones are going to have emission. My correction, they're all going to share that material. So that's good. And the way this comes in makes it nice and simple. So I can grab everything that's in the letterboard here in that collection, and I'll just select all objects, and then I can scale this down. Now, taking up the camera view, I can put this where I want. And maybe this was good here. Maybe it's good somewhere else. You can change this any way you wish. I like the top left corner, and you can play around with alignments and different things, but I think this ends up looking pretty decent. So this is part of what we're looking at right now. And one thing I do want to do is throw something else in there that I can have kind of at an angle and give it that little depth pop that I had from my original. Okay, now 2 different things here. Under the viewport display with the camera selected, I'm going to make sure my passepartout is all the way up. I don't need any side distractions for what's going on else in the viewport. Number 2, I took a screenshot of the letterboard. This is going to go in as another mesh image as plain, and I'll just have to find out where that went. Predictably, it's down at the bottom somewhere, so I just took the screenshot, and for whatever reason, it's here. But we'll rotate this one on the X at 90 as well. And I want to scale, oops, I want to rotate you. And then I want to scale it down a little bit. And I'm going to bring it out. Now, if this is going to bug out on shadows, I will go ahead and turn shadows off for it. But I don't think we'll have that problem. Put this right about here. That's kind of good. And if it does cast, it's cast in a shadow. So I'm going to go to objects, and we'll go to shading, and I think we can turn it off here. Gosh, I haven't tried to do that in a long time. There we go. So this object visibility will not cast a shadow in the render. Maybe we're not displaying an add-on here. Obviously, it's a car show, but I don't have anything else to put there. So this can kind of be centered in right there. And what I want to do is / and isolate this. I would like to, I think, add a wireframe to it. So what we'll do is generate a wireframe. We're going to not replace the original, and we're just going to have this little split right here, and it does what we want, and it gives us the geometry that we're going to need. So this is fine, and I can change the boundary there so that looks a little bit better. And I need to turn this into real geometry, so I just go ahead and apply it. Now, what I'll do is I'll jump into edit mode here. I'm going to grab the material that's already on it. Go into look dev, and let's make sure that we grab some of the faces that are basically on the inside. And I'm wondering if I can grab it. Yeah, there we go. So this is what I did before. Just add another material. Let's do new, and let's turn this into an emission. I'm not sure why it's, there we go. Can't find it sideways. And we'll put this to something like 25. And then we can have a white glow to this, probably, because the entire scene is based on that. Our lettering, also white, so we may stick with that. Let's take a camera view here and see how it looks when we're in rendered view. And everything looks good here. You want to go to color management, and I don't want the view, okay, view it can be AGX. I like it to set to punchy. Then I like to bring the contrast down a little bit. And then I can play with the lighting just a little bit better. And so this needs to be moved. I gotta select all objects again. Otherwise you're moving it without. I think that looks kind of good. So now you've got the beginning of a thumbnail. And if you don't want the letterboard in the background, you can simply get rid of it. It's just not a big deal. And then you can grab your material here. This could even be gray. And then we can turn the emission strength up on that as well. And so that would look nice. And then I did not assign this, so I need to make sure that's still highlighted. This material is selected, and then click assign. And then that will get the same glow. And you can choose different colors, whatever it is that gets you going in the morning. Go back to the orange here. And kind of match it up. And for whatever reason, these are not following. So I'm just going to do the selection. Okay, so for whatever reason, that was following before in tracking. Then it wasn't, now it is. So, okay. So a nice light blue. We can actually go with that. Let's grab our teardrop selector. Did it actually go back to white? That's awesome. So we'll try that one more time. And come back over here and see if we can copy that color over so we don't have to play with it too much. Now for compositing, incredibly simple. Just going to click new in the compositor. And this is, by the way, in Blender 4.4 or maybe it's 4.5. These are actual node groups now. So these can be saved as assets and all kinds of cool things. You can just Shift A, type in Bloom. And I know we all, at least the old school dogs like myself, I've been around since Blender 3. Then maybe I'm not old school to some of you guys, but we had to make Bloom work in different ways after they took it out of Eevee. So we didn't have that in Eevee Engine after a while, and I had to make it, actually made an add-on called Eevee Bloom. So now you can do things like this really easy. You can put in streaks, and it's always, in my opinion, you can't see anything here. Let's turn the compositor on. It's always good to just add a touch of these features. You don't want a whole lot, maybe just a little bit. Even my glow's a little too much here, but I honestly don't care. I like it just the way it is. And so we're only going to add this very small amount of compositing. So now you've got this, you've got something that could be kind of rotated maybe a little more on the Z. And then it can pop and be sideways, if you will. So let's go ahead and just render this out. Take a quick look at it, see how we like it. Now this will take a little while to render. I did not change the samples, but already you can kind of see this is super customizable. You can move this stuff around any direction you wish. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick with the letterboard add-on that's going to make it a lot more. And one final thought before we go, and another thing you can do with the letterboard add-on, which is really neat. In and of itself, it could be created and used very easily as a means to just make the entire thumbnail like it is. But you'll see right here, I've got these settings from this letterboard. If I come over here and grab this one and click recall, boom, I can recall all of these settings. And if I didn't want this to be this way, then I could just delete it out and say, welcome to the Mr. Steve car show. And then I could regenerate this. And guess what? Now I've got the exact same settings and I don't have to mess around and do a bunch of silly stuff to try to get it all back. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will put a link in the comments so you guys go pick up not only the blend file so you guys can follow along, but also the letterboard add-on. And I appreciate you guys showing a little love. Liking and subscribing helps just as much as picking up the add-on and gets the YouTube channel out there. Thanks, guys. Mr. Steve out.